man?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. I thought I saw you out of the corner of my eye this morning.
You've been coming and going, so.
All right, guys, we're late. I apologize. We're gonna get going right now. Are we gonna microphone ourselves or? Oh, sweet. Okay. We've got a lot of stuff to cover, and I promise we'll get everybody out of here at 10 o'clock. So, Happy New Year.
Good ears.
Are we awake? A little bit? No? Are we still on holiday? Okay. This thing on? Hello? So how's everybody going? Did we have a good year? A good New Year?
Yes.
Yes? Somebody give me some feedback. Somebody please. Somebody say something.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Like the quote line.
What's that?
I like the quote.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, these meetings are so much easier to get prepared for with Google and you just do a quick inspirational quote search in Google and it's amazing what you can find. And that seems appropriate. Can you hear me? Am I good on the mic?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, we're gonna get going. Good morning. We're still a little thin. I don't know. I'm just kind of feeling the.
Send out the email.
Send out the email. What?
Yeah, I almost missed the meeting.
That we
Just that we're having a meeting.
Who did not get the email that or the reminder email we're having a meeting? Brian's the only one? Okay, good. Yeah, we did send.
I'll wear the dunce cap, thank you.
Okay, well, we do send the email. I mean, generally speaking, second Wednesday of every month, 9 o'clock. Last month we kind of screwed up a little bit and we did our meeting a little late. So if this meeting seems like it came a little quicker, it did, because I think we met the third Wednesday of last month, and a holiday and all the rest of that sort of stuff. So, at any rate, hopefully we'll start to get a little larger attendance as our market starts to pick up, which it is. I'm very, very excited. So anyway, I just found that on Google. If you can't read it, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. That's a pretty typical, I'm sure that's been thrown up on a million different sales meetings in the last 100 years. So, in other words, get out there and go to work, And so for those of you that took December off, you didn't plant any seeds, so your January is going to be a little, your harvest in January will probably be a little thinner. But at any rate, okay, here we are, January 2012, sales meeting. 2013, close enough. We do have at least one new agent. I want to introduce Robert. Robert, stand up for a second. Robert Portugal. I have known Robert. How long have we known each other?
5 years.
5 years. God, it seems like 15.
Yeah.
Okay, well, at any rate, Robert and I have known each other for a little while, and I don't know, a few months back we started talking about, getting into the business, and so anyway, Robert has kind of effectively joined us within the last couple of weeks. So anybody, everybody welcome Robert and treat him nicely. So Robert, everybody, Robert. So is there anybody, we've actually had a couple of new agents. I don't recognize any brand new faces in here from an agent standpoint. So anyway, we'll start making some announcements every month. Phones ringing, it's very interesting. Getting a lot of phone calls for people that have been out of the business looking to come back into the business, or people that have not been in the business looking to get into the business. And to be honest with you, our recruiting efforts have been dismal as far as us actively going out and doing recruiting. It's kind of nice when people are calling us. And I think it's an indication of the market's improving and such. We also have another new face. I saw him a minute ago. Where did he go? Brad, where are you? Oh my God, you're right in front of me. Brad Hodge with Coldwell Banker Mortgage / I didn't put the PHH logo up, but also with PHH. Has anybody used Durana in the last 7, 8, 9 months? Okay, good. Okay, I see a couple, 3, 4 hands. Okay, let me take that to the next level. For those of you 4 people that raised your hands, let me redefine the word use. Have any of you used her and closed a loan with her in the last couple of you? Okay, so a couple of hands went down. Okay, well, at any rate, Durana is still with Coldwell Banker Mortgage, and I loved Joanna, she's a great gal, but the reality was is her focus wasn't so much in our office and in Moreno Valley and kind of taking care of us. So Joanna is still with CB Mortgage. If you're using her and you love her and had a great relationship with her, then you're going to continue to do that. Okay. Having said that, Brad is the new Durana. Brad is, I'll let him do his bio, I'll just give him the brief bio. Been doing this a long time, he'll fill in the blanks on what a long time means. New to Coldwell Banker Mortgage, but certainly not new to the business. And I might be overstating this a little bit, so if I am, don't correct me, all right? But Brad was at least partially hired, if not specifically hired, to come in and cultivate the business in this office, or our offices. Just to give you guys a little flavor on where we ended up 2012 and how this ties into Brad and why Coldwell Banker Mortgage wants to kind of be a part of our family in this office. We closed in, we haven't completely wrapped up the books, but this number's pretty damn close. We closed approximately 930 escrows in 2012, okay, within the 5 offices, okay. About half of that business is done in this office, okay. Of the 930 escrows, I may be off by 25 or 30, but approximately 435 of those were buyer side transactions, okay. And of those, approximately half of those were done in this office. I may be wrong, but if I go back and I take a look at all those buy-side transactions and the agents we use, with very, very few exceptions, the agents in this office and in Claremont and Covina and Redlands don't truly have what I would think to be a partner in the mortgage side. And the only reason I can say that is because I see you guys using a variety of different lenders almost in every transaction. Not that there's no, yeah, I use Joe on every single deal. But I don't see that a whole heck of a lot. I see Joe with ABC Company and Sally with XYZ Company and Jim with Elemental P Company. So what we're going to hopefully try to do this year, which we have failed miserably at for the last 20, certainly the last 10, is to get a true partner on the mortgage side. And we'll see whether, I've got it's a fairly easy goal, but no one seems to be able to hit it. So we'll see if Brad's shoes are big enough to fill that. We'll be seeing him a lot more. Again, kind of like with our escrow and property management, I'm not going to stand up here and twist your guys' arm. Matter of fact, the last 3 or 4 minute speech I'm giving you now is probably going to be the longest one we have in the sales meeting. But I did want to introduce Brad. He's going to be commandeering our conference room a little bit more often than we've seen in the past. Use them, try them, don't abuse them. If you've got relationships that you're happy with, that's fine. But hopefully at least he'll be available to you guys a little bit more than what we've seen in the past. So with that, I'm going to give Brad a couple of minutes to do a more proper introduction and tell you what it's all about. And come on up. And you're on video, so be careful. So for those that aren't at the meeting, you know, they'll be able to see you live and then memorize. Yeah, be careful with that.
Good morning. So I have been in a couple times. Again, my name is Brad Hodge. And anytime I've been in the mortgage business a long time, I'm going to give you a little more exact in a second, but every time I walk into a new set of relationships over the years, I get some of the looks I'm getting this morning like, not another one. Been there, done that, I understand. I've been in the business since 1973. That's 39 years for those of you that aren't quick on the math. I know I'm not anymore. I'll be 60 in a few weeks. I've held Western regional positions. I've managed offices. I've managed 300 people. I own my own real estate chain of real estate offices and mortgage offices for 20 years. And this economy folded me in 2008. I couldn't make it. And mainly because I got hit with a pretty good lawsuit because I had one devious agent. One. So out of all the ones I hired for all those years, that one got me. DRE nailed me pretty hard. And I couldn't recover. So in 2008 I closed. I went to Wells Fargo. I tried the big bank for 3.5 years. That is a tough environment. That's all I need to say. I went out and managed another company, and so, anybody here know who Paul Worth is, the regional manager? Have you seen him running around? We were peers at Wells Fargo. He was managing, I was managing reverse my last year. I wanted to go into a different area because my parents were getting older. And I knew someday I'd need it. So I've done a little bit of everything. I've sat in your desks. I've had them steal my signs. I've had the city cite me for my balloons. I've been in Westminster and Indio. The guy says, hey, I can't get in your house because the last guy got the keys in Carlsbad. You know, back before we had electronic ones, right, when you had to have the key, you know. So I'm not saying I'm better at what you do. I'm saying I have all your empathy. I have sat in your chair. I get it. Everybody has a loan program, products, procedures. What I can tell you, I've been a DE underwriter. I understand FHA, conventional, and VA guidelines about as well as anybody can in today's environment, simply because they change them every day. You know, the rules change every day, or interpretation changes every day. So what I spend a lot of time is just educating myself. And my goal is to share that with you when you want it, when you need it, and when you'd like it. Okay? I'm not here to take anybody's relationships away. I will tell you that this platform with PHH Coldwell Banker, I spent a week in Mount Laurel, New Jersey, is without fail the best group of team-working people I've seen between departments in my 40 years. I've never seen funding and underwriting and processing communicate so well. It's almost amazing. I'm ready for the balloon to break, because it's just not normal. So I plan to be here to start for a while, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday in this little office. Okay? My door's open. I'll walk around and just say, hey, how are you? Any questions? I'm not going to ask you for a deal. You know I'm here for a deal. I'm here to show you what I can do. If you have a hard question, throw it at me. If I don't know it, I know where I can get the answer. And last but not least, I know that Lance is very big on training. And so if you've got something you want to know more about on our first 1 or 2 or 3 training modules that we put together, then let us know. Let's pick the ones that are most important to the mass first, and then, you know, if I need to do one-offs, we can. Other than that, anybody got any questions? Me? I'm just another old guy here to make a living.
There you go. Okay,
Thank you.
so as we've all seen over our years in the business, another lender has presented themselves to us, brought to the slaughter for your destruction. So at any rate, we'll see. Okay, been doing this a long time. You know, who knows Scott Riley? Mike, we go back so far. Scott Riley's the best lender on the planet. Okay. I asked him 5 years ago to come in the office and basically be our in-house guy. He showed up for 2 weeks and then left. So I was a little disappointed with that. We'll see. I will tell you, with PHH and Coldwell Banker Mortgage, even though they have not had any significant footprint as far as quantity of loans in this office, and for the 2 of you that raised your hand and said you closed one with Durana, you know, I didn't pre-plan this, so hopefully I won't, you know, shoot the message in the foot. But I've never had a bad experience on closing these loans. Okay, in the 10 or so years we've been doing business with Coldwell Banker Mortgage, we've only done probably 15 loans in 10 years, but they've all been super, super sweet and buttery, which kind of goes to Brad's point about the processing and underwriting. So at any rate, enough of the commercial on that. It'll be up for Brad to earn your business if he does use them. If he doesn't, use who you're using now, or come to me and tell me why you want to use them. So at any rate, website portals, I'm not going to go through that. We always go through that. The Coldwell Banker training calendar. To finish up with Brad, one of the things, to Brad's point, we've kind of been a little dark on training for the last month or so. Since Thanksgiving, we haven't really done a whole lot of training in the office in the last 5-6 weeks. Anna and I are going to be putting together a training calendar for the next 3 months anyway. We will start, who's actually goes to the website, be honest, to look at the training calendar? Okay, a few of you do. Great. Okay. Well, we will populate that training calendar within the next few days. If you go there in a couple of days and you don't see anything specifically for training next week, we will start the training calendar starting again next Thursday. At a minimum, we will be doing training, as we've done in the past, every Thursday approximately from 1 to 3. So if you're putting your calendars together,
Contract college thing?
well, it's going to be, well, frankly, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to have Brad come in and talk about qualified mortgages or FHA, or, you know, how for you guys to fill out buyer's net sheets, which I don't normally encourage you to do that. Contract college stuff, the whole 9 yards. Some of the stuff that I did, that we videoed, we're going to redo that. Actually, the one we're going to do next week, actually, just so you know, it's not on the calendar yet, we're going to do business planning. There's already a 2.5-hour YouTube video on our YouTube channel about business planning and goal setting and all the rest of that. We're going to do that again, kind of appropriate, it's first of the year. We're going to do that next Thursday. But we'll incorporate some stuff with Brad as far as, you know, mortgage related training and such. So check the calendar, it'll start populating. But if you don't have anything scheduled for next Thursday from 1 to, it won't be from 1 to 3, it'll probably be from 1 to 4. We're going to do business plan class. Okay? So, monthly sales awards. Blah, I hate this when this happens, so we're just going to blow right by it. Our sales agent is Team Linda Kugel, and we have 0 representatives from Team Linda Kugel, so we will put this on their door. December is actually a fairly decent month, guys. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised from a closing and opening standpoint of what we did in December. So the fourth quarter finished a heck of a lot better than I expected. I think I said in the last sales meeting I was terrified, literally terrified over the summer. June, July, August, and September was a very difficult summer from a standpoint of new listing inventory and closings. We all did okay. We're still here. The lights are on. But the summer that I expected did not materialize. And then quite honestly, as we went through that summer, looking towards the fourth quarter, October, November, and December, again, I know this is a repeat for most of you, you've heard me say this, I was pretty, you know, concerned about the fourth quarter of 2012. I gotta tell you, to my super duper pleasant surprise, fourth quarter of 2012 actually seems to have, I think maybe a turning point. I think we may act, kind of like we've said, I'm 100% confident now. We will look back and we will peg February 2012 as the bottom of the market as it relates to pricing. Okay? For years now, we've been able to say June of 2006 was the top of the market. I think we called June of 2006 as the top of the market in July of 2006. Okay? I mean, it was pretty obvious very, very early on. You know, it didn't take us 3 years to say, oh yeah, June of 2006 was the top of the market. I mean, if we didn't call it in July, for those of you that were with us at that time, who was with us in the summer of 06 in this room? Not a lot of you, just a few of you. Okay, well, for those of you that were there and that were looking at this data collectively, certainly by August or September of 2006, we were all standing here saying, wow, look at that, we've reached a peak. So at any rate, with that in mind, we're now 10 months away from February of 2012, 10 months past that, and I'm more confident now than ever that's the bottom. Having said that, I think we will very likely be saying months from now and a year from now that the market, even though values have started to increase for the last 10 months, the one thing that's been frustrating the heck out of all of us is it's nice to see property values go up, but when you actually have the number of homes being sold that's flat or even dropping a little bit, that's a little frustrating, a little hard to make a living. You know, we can sit back and say, well, that's great, the prices are going up, but it's not helping me as the individual agent. I think we've seen the worst of that, if you will, as far as unit sales. And I think we're going to be able to say fourth quarter of 2012 was that time. So at any rate, congratulations to Jim and Shelley and Danny. And having said that, we don't have a top listing agent for December because nobody took more than one listing. If that's not true, let me know and I'll make a correction. That's a little disappointing because one of the things that we need is inventory. So we either didn't take a lot of listings. Having said that, and Dwayne on the Freddie Mac team, and myself and Drew and Janet and everybody that works on our Fannie Mae stuff, we put, now it wasn't a huge number, but I think between Dwayne's inventory that came to market in December and our Fannie inventory that came to market in December, I think we did 8 new listings or something like that. Certainly 5 or 6, which is interesting. One of the things that Drew was noticing as he's pulling inventory every day is there's a lot of the new inventory that is coming to market is what?
Bank owned.
Huh?
Bank owned.
It's bank owned. When's the last time we were able to say that? Who's pulling the active listing inventory every day? Okay, well if you're not, you should. Okay, and a lot of the inventory that has come to market in December and in January, certainly to my surprise, has been bank owned. We haven't been able to say that for 7, 8, 9 months because the new listing inventory that's been coming to market has not been bank owned. It's been short sale or standard sale. So we're now past the holidays. We're into January. First week's been kind of funky. I think the sales meeting is probably a good indication that people are still kind of in a little bit of a holiday fog. But I expect inventory to increase. And again, it's hard not to because we're so low. But we're not getting huge amounts of REO assignments, but we're getting REO assignments. And we started to get those starting back in October. Dwayne and myself were getting new REO assignments the week before Christmas, in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Unheard of. Don't get it. Now again, not massive numbers, one here, one there, but compared to what we were looking at before, along with the rising property values, I expect if you don't have a business plan that includes going out and actively soliciting and getting listings, you are missing the boat, okay? Because the holidays are over, property values are going up, and it is a wonderful time to go out and educate the neighborhood that values are up and it might be time to sell, okay? And I expect that that's what's going to happen. So let's get our piece of that, even though we missed it in December. Anybody got any thoughts on that? No? Okay. Moving right along. Market data, I don't have any charts for you today, but the charts look exactly the same, okay? Inventory has compressively gone down, just as we've discussed. I might be wrong, but I think when we do the meeting in February, it'll be the first month in a year where the actual listing inventory gained ground from the prior month. Those red bars that we've been looking at that have been going down, 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 down. If it doesn't happen in January, it will happen in February. I'm stick my neck out. I'm positive it's going to happen. Okay. All signs indicate that. Which is why I don't know if you can tell. I'm pretty excited, guys. We're all salespeople, and we try to project the best, and we're positive, and all the rest of that sort of stuff. Not that I've been faking it for the last year, but a lot of what I've had to do for the last year to get motivated and excited is just that. I wake up in the morning, I look in the mirror and say, damn it, get motivated and get excited. Okay? So, to the degree I've had a little bit of a game face on for the last year, full disclosure, I have. This is a little different. The data looks really, really good. The market looks good. Values are increasing. It's time to get out there and take some names. Let's make this our year. Just real quickly on Sky Slope, there's 5 or 6 things I want to talk about. 3 of these are repeats. First of all, I want to thank everybody for using Sky Slope. We're another month in. I'm happier today than I was a month ago, and I was pretty damn happy a month ago. I will tell you full disclosure, and for those of you that are using Sky Slope regularly, you know this to be true. For the last 3 weeks, this is my bad, we have been a little less than responsive on going through the checklist and approving or rejecting the documents you put in. So if you're like, wait a minute, I'm doing my part, how come management isn't doing their part? Frankly, the way it stands right now, the only person reviewing your documents is me, okay? And I kind of checked out, at least as it relates to Sky Slope, for about the last 3 weeks. So some of you may have noticed just within the last couple of days, oh, Lance went dark, and now you're getting those emails. I see Robin's head nodding up and down. That is not the goal. The goal is to, if you guys submit a new form into Sky Slope, that you should be getting a response back from management 24 to 48 hours. So I'm going to do my best to make sure that that happens, as opposed to 3 weeks. Okay, but at any rate, you guys are doing great. We still have some work to do on the checklist, but we're better. There's 3 things, actually 4 things I'm requesting for you. Number 1, please be sure that every open escrow that you have is in Sky Slope. Right? Does anybody have an open escrow right now that's not in Sky Slope? Okay, and that's okay. We're still in our infancy, and thanks for having the courage to raise your hand. You know, and I'm going to be nice about this, and I'm going to continue to be nice about it. But at some point, I will no longer be nice about it. You know, if 6 months from now we're closing escrows and it's not in Sky Slope, I'm going to turn to you, Paul, and I'm going to shake you by the lapel and say, hey, come on, we got to get in Sky Slope. Yeah.
Well, I usually don't do the sales report until I get lender approval.
Don't need sales reports anymore.
Until I get lender approval, because it's a short sale.
Don't need sales reports anymore. If you have a short sale, that you have an accepted contract,
It's
even
not-
it's accepted by the seller,
Okay,
okay? You're a listing agent?
yeah,
Okay, well, it doesn't really matter, whether you're a listing agent or the buyer's agent. If you are in a short sale transaction, irrespective of who you are representing, the buyer or seller, and that contract has been accepted by the seller, and either you or the listing agent, if you're not the listing agent, has sent that contract out for approval, I want that in Sky Slope, okay? You do not have to fill out sales reports anymore. We don't need sales. Sky Slope is your sales report. So without pulling Sky Slope up and doing a quick training on it, all I want you to do is put it in 123 Main Street, new transaction, take the 5 minutes to fill out the boxes. It's going to ask you for an acceptance date on the contract. Put the acceptance date that the seller accepted it. We know that that's not the acceptance for Bank of America.
right.
It's going to ask you for a closing date. You don't know what the closing date is because you don't even have a short sale approval yet. Put some date out into the future. Put July 31st, put December 31st, 2013. Just put something out there, and then that lets us, number 1, know you've got a deal pending. And then number 2, it gives you some sort of point of reference. Sorry about that. Some sort of point of reference to
Okay,
take a look at that. But anyway, please put everything in Sky Slope you have. We talked about this last month. And there's only a few of you guys that are writing HUDs, but if you are writing a HUD, matter of fact, Rose Serta just wrote one the other day. If you're writing a HUD offer, and again, writing means typing it into the computer and filling out their automated thing, please put that in Sky Slope. Okay? Granted, there's a lot of information you cannot complete. You don't have an accepted price, you don't have a closing date, you don't even have an acceptance. Just put it in Sky Slope, so that way we know who it belongs to and I don't have to chase you down later. And actually 2 other quick things. If I have any frustrations with those of you that are using Sky Slope right now, a lot of us are not just staying up on top of your closing dates. That's really if I have one problem or challenge with the people that are using it right now, is there are many of us that have transactions open in Sky Slope with a close of escrow date of December 18th. Okay? So if that's you, take that close of escrow date and please put it out to, if it's going to close on January 18th, edit it. Put it out to January. If it's fallen out, cancel it. Okay? But that's really been kind of I'm sure there's others, but that's been one of the main things I'm really trying to convey to everybody is please update the closing dates. It would be super, super helpful. And then last but not least, most of you have been really, really great about this, but daily I'm getting people that are uploading forms that aren't signed on the checklist. Okay? If you have a transfer disclosure statement that's signed by the seller and it's not signed by the buyer, you can still load it into the documents section in Sky Slope. Just don't attach it to the checklist. Okay? Everybody understand what I'm saying? Okay. Only attach stuff to the checklist that's fully executed. If it's not fully executed, you can put it in SkySlope in the documents. Just don't upload it to the checklist. I get blank stuff uploaded to the checklist all the time. Just blank. It's not signed by anybody. Okay? Well, just put that in the documents section. Only upload on the checklist. So, anybody got any questions, comments, thoughts? Love it? Hate it?
Rejected offers?
What's that?
Rejected offers?
I'm still working on that. I really like Tom Romo's suggestion. If you weren't in the last meeting, I've just kind of let this kind of float out there a little bit because I'm still, it's not the end of the world that we don't have it figured out right now. But if you didn't hear what Chris said, is what do we do with rejected offers? I think we're probably going to go with Tom Romo's suggestion from last month. And if you weren't here, this is it. We're going to create a property in SkySlope. And that property is going to be Rejected Offers 2013, okay, at skyslope.com. If you now subsequently have an offer that you've written that has not been accepted, been rejected, or for whatever reason just, didn't go through, all we're going to want you to do is name a PDF, scan it, name it. We'll give you a naming convention, what we use on the REO team. If the address is 123 Main Street, Moreno Valley, we just do Main Street, comma 123. We might want you to maybe put your name at the end of it, like Main Street, comma 123 dash Leaper, something like that, to identify that you wrote the offer. You scan that and you email it to Rejected Offers 2013 at skyslope.com, and you're done.
The question that I had with Anna yesterday, the way I'm understanding it is, in order to use the digital signature, you have to create that property in SkySlope.
True. If you are, which gets to, okay, I'm going to give you two, if you, let me go down Debbie's path. If I'm you, okay, I'm trying to make this easy on you guys. That's the one thing that I've learned in my management is if you make things complicated on your agents, they hate it and they don't do it. Okay, so I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. So we're going to have probably two levels of how to handle rejected offers. If I was you, I would do what I think Debbie's going to do. If I write an offer, I'm going to create a transaction in SkySlope. And I'm going to make a transaction, 123 Main Street, Moreno Valley, California. I wrote it for John Smith, and that offer got rejected, and I'm going to reject it, and I'm going to close it out. And then you can use your digital signatures and all the rest of that. Now, if I meet with that buyer again 3 days later, and I write an offer on 123 South Street, I'm going to create another transaction in SkySlope, and I'm going to have it 123 South Street. And if it gets rejected, I'm going to reject it, and I'm going to close it out, and I'm going to do that 20 times. Until I get my 21st offer accepted. And I'm going to have 20 separate transactions in SkySlope. All of them are going to be canceled, and I'm going to sit back and say, damn, what a waste of time. I had to do all this information in here, and I finally got one offer accepted. I personally don't see that as a waste of time, okay? Because I will be able to, as an agent, not as a broker, be able to go in and I'll have all the documents I need and I'll have my file and it'll be clean and it'll be there forever. And in my opinion, it doesn't take that much time to do that. Okay, so if that's you, that's what you're going to do. So you will never use the Rejected Offers 2013 at skyslope.com email address. And all of your files that are rejected will be in SkySlope. You'll be able to pull them up anytime you want for the 3 years, by the address, the whole 9 yards. If that's too much to ask, and to be honest with you, 80% of the agents in this office have told me that's too much to ask, I don't want to do it, it's inefficient. So I've said, okay, great, I'm going to go to the lowest common denominator, and I'm going to say, email it in to Rejected Offers 2013 at skyslope.com. At least that way I have it, okay? I'm going to piggyback on something Brad said earlier. Brad, you've been doing this for how, 39 years?
Yes.
And in 2008, the market and a lawsuit destroyed you?
Yes.
Okay, I've been doing this for 27 years. Thank God, the market has not yet destroyed me. We got sued 3 times last year. Okay? There's probably at least one more that's literally right there that I'm aware of. And God knows how many are out there that I have no idea about. Okay? One of the annoyances on my plate right now is an agent in our office wrote an offer. That offer was rejected, and the buyer was unhappy. Guess what they've done? Filed a complaint with the Department of Real Estate. Okay? I don't have a copy of the file. Agent doesn't work here anymore. Bad apple. Brought down Brad's company after 25, 30 years. And not that we're going down that path, but you don't know. I don't know what's out there. I have no idea what's out there tomorrow. This helps me fix that. Which at a minimum, which is why I'm saying my lowest common denominator is at least if you email them into rejected offers 2013 at skyslope.com, at least I have the offer. At least I can take a look at it. And I won't feel quite as blindsided as I have with DRE. So I know it's difficult, and I know we've got some of you in here that just see the inefficiencies of having to do that when you're writing 20, 30 offers. I get it. But at the end of the day, we have regulatory bodies that we have to answer to. You know, Department of Real Estate, plaintiffs' attorneys, and anyway, this helps. So, the jury's out on what to do with those, but the rejected offers 2013 at skyslope.com will be activated today. Okay, Anna will create that file. Basically, you're going to create a company file with an email. That email will go out to everybody. You guys won't have access to that file, by the way. You will not be able to go into SkySlope and access the 2013 rejected offers in SkySlope. That's an admin file. You only have access to the email, and you'll just email those in, right? As opposed to throwing them in the trash, because we don't do that. We don't throw our rejected offers in the trash. At any rate, if you wanted the gold standard, do what Debbie's going to do. Create the damn file. It's not that difficult. It takes 5 minutes. Okay. At any rate, anything else on SkySlope? We're running way late. We have some more stuff we're going to cover. Are we awake? Am I losing you? I feel like I'm losing you. The only person I feel connected with is Robin. Robin's giving me the, she's giving me the eye contact. Okay, escrow. Thanks again. Summer, you're doing a great job. I don't know how many open escrows she has, but how many open escrows do you have?
22 right now.
22.
Because
Because she closed a ton. All right. She's doing a great job. Thanks everybody who's using her. She's fantastic. Property management. We are going to start up with our property management training. We kind of got off to a good start in the middle of the summer, and then we kind of fell apart October, November, December. For those of you that are still interested in getting a little bit of training on signing up properties, we will reinitiate that this month. It'll be on the Wednesday, or one of the training schedules. We're probably not going to do it following this meeting. I've just found for me that's difficult. So we'll probably just set a date on the schedule, Tuesday at 10 o'clock kind of a thing. So if you're interested in that, check the calendar out. Some hot topics, important. I'm going to leave these up here. If you forget about it, you can ask Anna for this, or we're going to keep them at the front desk. This is a form that I created months ago, and it needs to be updated and edited, but constantly I have people asking me what my DRE number is, what our HUD NAID number is, what the alarm code is, what is our tax ID number, all the rest of that sort of stuff. So we'll put this on the website as well, but if you're one of those folks that like to pin it to a bulletin board, here's the basic information, you know, what the password is for this, that, and the other thing, yada, yada, yada. What Brian's extension is. Where's Brian at? Brian's extension is on here. Is that great or what? Actually, the only problem is it says extension 250. So we'll have to get that fixed. So at any rate, what's that?
Does it say call after midnight?
No, it's all right. So at any rate, we're gonna, if you want one of these, come grab them. We'll also put it on the website, and hopefully that'll help you out, because at least once a week, someone needs an aid number or tax ID number, so hopefully that'll help you. Anybody interested in going to Gen Blue this year with Coldwell? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Well, okay, let me, in case you can't read, but I don't mean that you can't read, just your eyes are no good. This year it's in New York. Is anybody else interested in going now that it's in New York as opposed to Minneapolis? Same people. Okay.
Can't get a big soda in New York. I'm
Okay.
not going.
Well, this is the deal. There's a small problem. The last few years that they've been putting these on, they literally have been not anywhere close to selling out the conference literally 2 days before the conference starts. And we normally know that because we keep getting emails, right? You get the email, early bird registration expires on this day, and oh, early bird registration has been extended, and now it's 3 days before the conference, and it's like, hey, early bird registration is, you know, which means what? Conference isn't selling. Who's even heard about this? By the way, if you can't see the dates, it's October 7th and 8th. Anybody even hear about this? Okay. Coldwell Banker screwed up. All right? About 6 weeks ago, I got an email that said the Gem Blue conference was just announced 3 days earlier. Like it was announced, I didn't see anything. I didn't see it anywhere. Unless you, who follows Coldwell Banker corporate on Facebook? Who has friended the corporate office on Facebook? Okay, well I have. That's where they announced it. But I'm not a big Facebook. I don't go through my Facebook thing every day and night. Well, that's where they made the announcement. Anyway, the bottom line is it's sold out. Before they even published it anywhere, it's sold out. Partially, I think it's sold out because it's in New York and it's a good excuse and fun reason to go to New York. So this is the deal. They've also got it at a venue that is limited by size, which is why it's sold out. If they had it in New Orleans, like last year when Drew and Dwayne and a couple of the other agents from the other offices went, they could have put 20,000 people in that place because the convention center is millions of square feet that they were having it in. This year they're having it at the Kennedy Center in New York, which is kind of cool if you've never been there. But they also have it limited to a room that only accommodate 2,500 people. Right, bottom line is it's sold out. So this is, why am I going through all this exercise to tell you the conference sold out? I'm going anyway, okay? I'm going to go the week before, not the week, but probably going to, the conference, that's a Monday, Tuesday, by the way, if you're looking at your calendar. 7th and 8th is a Monday, Tuesday. I've already booked a room, and I booked the flight. I think I'm flying out on the Thursday before and coming back the Wednesday, the 9th. Having said that, I don't have a ticket for the conference, okay? I think they're going to probably make some special arrangements. I'm leaning on, not that Brad has a lot of pull on this, but I'm leaning on Brad's Coldwell Banker counterparts and saying, hey, throw me a bone here. You know, our office has supported the conference. I mean, we've, you know, as a percentage of our agents, I mean, last couple of years we haven't had as many, but, you know, a few years back, you know, we've had, 10, 12 people going to this thing. So if you are interested, two things. Number one, you know how it works on booking this stuff. If you book your trip today or within the next month or two, you're going to get a much better room rate and a much better flight than if you wait until July, August, or September. Having said that, you will not be able to actually register for the conference yet, or ever. Which doesn't mean that I'm going to go. You know, I'm a sales guy. I'm going to work my way into wherever I think I need to be. And frankly, half of the business is done in the hallways anyway. So, at any rate, if you are interested in that, mark your calendar for those dates and start making your arrangements. I'm probably going to throw in a registration, actually registration for everybody. So, whatever, we'll work it out. So, but I am going. It should be a good event, and also another. Not that this, just that the venue is a little bit smaller. To me, that was another very, very good indication that this conference sold out like in 4 days. Okay. Huh?
It says under a week.
Is that what it says? Sold out? Okay. The last conference did not sell out ever. Is the real estate market changing? People feeling it? Okay. something's changing, guys. You know, the agents, and again, I know that it's a broad statement, and there's maybe a few of you, no, shit, I don't feel anything changing. I'm telling you, things are changing, okay? And the fact that this, and granted, maybe it had something to do with New York is a better venue than New Orleans, or a better venue than Vegas or Chicago, I don't know. But the fact that this thing sold out in a few days is an indication that at least our peers nationally see something different going on. So anyway, I'm very excited about it. So mark your calendar. Our Christmas party, Janet, Anna made a beautiful flyer, of which none of you will see, because it's got to be the ugliest flyer I've ever seen in my life. I mean, this is one of those flyers that if it was thrown on your desk, you literally wouldn't even, you'd literally just throw it straight into the trash can, because it's just, there's nothing about this flyer that says, come to our Christmas party / awards party. So we're going to make a new one.
Is that hosted by Jon Stewart?
Irrespective of that. Yeah, I don't know why I pulled that up. For some reason, the Oscars and Jon Stewart came to mind. At any rate, February 9th, 2013, it's going to be at the Field Museum from 6 to 10. It's going to not certainly be as glitzy and fancy as the cruises we've done, but let me give you the side benefit of this party. Okay? First of all, it's free. Second of all, you don't have to get there at 6. You won't miss the boat if you show up late. You don't have to stay till 10, because if you're on the boat, you're stuck. And the extra benefit, you can bring whoever you want. Okay? So you're not going to be limited to, you know, you plus one. If you've got some relationships with mortgage or title or escrow, and you want to, you know, invite them, because that's what I'm going to be doing. You can invite whoever you want. The only thing that I ask is if you are going to bring 10 people to our award ceremony, you need to let me know, or let Anna know, that hey, it's Stephen plus 9. All right? I need to know that, because obviously I don't have an unlimited budget for food and seating and all the rest of that sort of stuff. But anyway, so February 9th, it's a Saturday, should be fun. And if you've never been to the Field Museum, it's a different place to have an event. We talked a little bit about Make-A-Wish. Who was at our meeting last month? Who was not at our meeting last month? Okay, for those of you that missed our meeting, we're partnering up with Make-A-Wish as kind of our company charity, so to speak. And a little bit more to follow. I think generally what my thought is completely voluntary. Anna's going to put out an email, or we'll put out some sort of information on it. One of the things, we're going to do something in conjunction with our award ceremony in February. But we're going to put something out. This is what I'm going to do. Every escrow we close in 2013, I don't know what it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be $5 or $50 or something like that. But we're just going to set aside X amount of dollars for every transaction that our team closes and the office closes. And then we're going to make a contribution to Make-A-Wish the following year. If you guys think that that might be something that you want to do, it'll be simple and painless. We'll tell Anna, or you'll tell Erica, hey, for every deal I close this year, you'll deduct $2 or $10 or whatever you think is appropriate, or 0. And it's all confidential. I'm not going to stand up at any meeting ever and say this person did this. And by the way, you guys did nothing. I promise you I will not do that. Okay? If this is something you want to, it will be in our ceremony, it'll say, hey, Make-A-Wish, here's a check for $7,000, courtesy of Coldwell Banker Pioneer Real Estate. You can all relish in even if only one of you donated the $7,000. So anyway, that's kind of the way we're going to go with that. So it should be a good thing. License renewals. Anybody used our licensing school? Okay, well, I'm going to be a guinea pig. My personal broker's license renews, or is up for renewal in 3 months. I'm going to try it on our school. So if you have a renewal, this isn't just for new licensees. If you have a renewal that's coming up, give it a shot. I don't know, what is it, $100 bucks? $100 bucks.
Was that every 4 years you need to do it?
Every 4 years. Yeah, and I got to tell you, if you don't know when that is, check. Because honestly, I thought my personal license expired next year, and it doesn't. It expires April of 2013. So I need to do it now. Yeah, otherwise someone's going to be screaming at me on April 26th. Dwayne is going to come into my office and say, Freddie Mac just pulled our inventory because our broker's license is expired. So, yes, sir.
You guys think that's tough? Let's change the licensing for loan officers, for
Yep.
Dodd-Frank. Anybody heard of that little bill? So it's now $300 every year.
Every year.
Every year that we have to pass. We have to have a new DOJ inspection, luckily, a new credit report. Luckily, we don't have to do fingerprints every 4 years. But if we get a complaint and it's granted, we're done. There's no recovery. Your license is revoked by the Department of Corporations or DRE, and you cannot originate in the nation. You are on the national website, you are done.
It's probably good.
Yeah, it probably is good.
It would have helped me, and it would have saved me almost $700,000, because I actually had a team. I had a loan officer, agent. They were stealing houses. They had they convinced uneducated Hispanic families in the poorer areas of the San Diego communities to grant their properties to them. They did an AITD, for any of those that you know, been around a while, an office of trustee. So the payments were coming to them. They were making the partial payments. They drew all the funds out, and the lady ended up in Brazil with about $2.3 million. And there's no extradition. And my fine was $750,000, cease or desist, pay on delivery.
One bad apple puts you out of business.
One bad apple.
Yep. It's fun owning a business, guys. It's fun. For those of
And
you
you know,
that
it's not
are
covered.
excited about going out and getting your broker's license, I encourage you to do so.
Do you?
I do, actually. I used to discourage that. Someone would come to me, and Debbie would come to me and say, I want to get my broker's license. Oh, come on, Debbie, you don't need to do that. Because my mindset was, when you go out and get your broker's license, that basically means you're one further step down the road. You're going to hang your own shingle, you're going to leave me, and you're going to open your own company. And there may be a lot of truth to that. But the reality is many years ago, I completely changed my mindset on that, and I said, if Debbie or any one of you want to go out and get your broker's license, God bless you, go do it. I want you to stay here and work as long as you can, because at least as long as you are working here with your broker's license, you guys have heard me say this many times before, who's got the broker's license in the room?
I got an exam
Okay.
next month, but I'm
Well,
not so sure.
well,
now.
for those of you that do, George, when you make the mistake, when the Department of Real Estate comes into my office, they walk right by my desk and they walk straight to yours.
Is that true? I didn't think.
It's
that.
absolutely true.
Absolutely.
It's
I thought they still
100%.
practice under your name.
It's 100, because they're not practicing under me. If you have a broker's license, those of you that have broker's license in the room, you are a broker affiliated with, I'm not even sure I'm using the word affiliated.
Our percent split?
We simply have a compensation agreement with the managing broker.
Oh yeah, you have to have an arrangement, and the split may be 100%, it may be 50-50. I mean, it just depends on what the relationship is. But from a liability standpoint, it's yours, baby. 100% yours. Did you know better? Because you answered an extra 50 questions on your test. And of course, because we know the experience levels there. At any rate, use our thing. I have heard good reports from new licensees that have used our test or used our site. It's very friendly, so on and so forth. But anyway, I'll be able to report back in a month or so, and I'll tell you what my thoughts were on it, at least as far as the renewal is concerned. Business planning. My door is open. If you want to sit down and do a one-on-one for 20 minutes or 2 hours and 20 minutes, let me know. There'll probably be a few of you that I'll probably approach, whether you approach me or not, and say, hey, it's probably a good idea that we sit down and chat. If you're not interested in a one-on-one, we will be doing next Thursday, Anna, please put it on my calendar, my broadcast kind of business planning of what you can do to kind of kickstart your career. I know that's something Robert and I have been emailing back and forth on. It's definitely something that we need to sit down individually, and also be a good idea if you can make next Thursday. So if you don't have a business plan, God bless you. So, and I think I'm done. Is it 10 o'clock? Oh, video shoots. Anybody want to shoot a video today? As expected. If that changes, let
Call
Brian
me.
know. We'll set it up in the, yes.
Do you have any need for a business plan Excel spreadsheet that's active? A
Sure.
basic one?
Send it over.
So, yeah, okay, I'll get it to you.
Send it over.
It's very
Absolutely.
simple, 3 minutes, and you can see what you need to close.
Yep, that sounds good. We'll take it. So anyway, if you do want to shoot a video today, we'll set up the green screen. The green screen
Yeah,
is
I got one
now
in the car, too.
a kind of a faded lime green because it hasn't been used in so long. The green is, that was a joke. At any rate,
I'm the only one that gets it.
I know. Anyway, we'd love you guys to use the video. All right, I'm done. Anybody got anything? Questions? Comments?
Whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here, and I really am gonna be here. This is my last gig, folks. I'm gonna go to 46 years and hang the Spurs up, and I'm gonna do it with you.
Nice.
That's it.
Okay, guys, go get them. Sell something.
I have pads here for anybody that wants them. I have more in the car. They are Coldwell Banker Mortgage pads.
Long time, he'll fill in the blanks on what a long time means. New to Coldwell Banker Mortgage, but certainly not new to the business. And I might be overstating this a little bit, so if I am, don't correct me, all right? But Brad was at least partially hired, if not specifically hired, to come in and cultivate the business in this office, or our offices. Just to give you guys a little flavor on where we ended up 2012 and how this ties into Brad and why Coldwell Banker Mortgage wants to kind of be a part of our family in this office. We closed in, we haven't completely wrapped up the books, but this number's pretty damn close. We closed approximately 930 escrows in 2012, okay, within the 5 offices, okay. About half of that business is done in this office, okay. Of the 930 escrows, I may be off by 25 or 30, but approximately 435 of those were buyer side transactions, okay? And of those, approximately half of those were done in this office. I may be wrong, but if I go back and I take a look at all those buy side transactions and the agents we use, with very, very few exceptions, the agents in this office and in Claremont and Covina and Redlands don't truly have what I would think to be a partner in the mortgage side. And the only reason I can say that is because I see you guys using a variety of different lenders almost in every transaction. Not that there's no, yeah, I use Joe on every single deal. But I don't see that a whole heck of a lot. I see an agent standpoint, so anyway, we'll start making some announcements every month. Phone's ringing. It's very interesting. Getting a lot of phone calls for people that have been out of the business looking to come back into the business, or people that have not been in the business looking to get into the business. And to be honest with you, our recruiting efforts have been dismal as far as us actively going out and doing recruiting. So it's kind of nice when people are calling us. And I think it's an indication of the market's improving and such. We also have another new face. I saw him a minute ago. Where did he go? Brad, where are you? Oh my God, you're right in front of me. Brad Hodge with Coldwell Banker Mortgage / I didn't put the PHH logo up, but also with PHH. Has anybody used Durana in the last 7, 8, 9 months? Okay, good. Okay, I see a couple, 3, 4 hands. Okay, let me take that to the next level. For those of you 4 people that raised your hands, let me redefine the word use. Have any of you used her and closed a loan with her in the last couple of you? Okay, so a couple of hands went down. Okay, well, at any rate, Durana is still with Coldwell Banker Mortgage, and I love Durana. She's a great gal. But the reality was her focus wasn't so much in our office and in Moreno Valley and kind of taking care of us. So Durana is still with CB Mortgage. If you're using her and you love her and had a great relationship with her, then you're going to continue to do that. Okay. Having said that, Brad is the new Durana. Brad is, I'll let him do his bio, I'll just give him the brief bio. Been doing this second Wednesday of every month, 9 o'clock. Last month we kind of screwed up a little bit and we did our meeting a little late. So if this meeting seems like it came a little quicker, It did, because I think we met the third Wednesday of last month, and a holiday and all the rest of that sort of stuff, so. At any rate, hopefully we'll start to get a little larger attendance as our market starts to pick up, which it is. I'm very, very excited. So anyway, I just found that on Google. If you can't read it, don't judge each day by the harvest you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. That's a pretty typical, I'm sure that's been thrown up on a million different sales meetings in the last 100 years. So in other words, get out there and go to work, you know. And so for those of you that took December off, you didn't plant any seeds, so your January is going to be a little, your harvest in January will probably be a little thinner. But at any rate, okay, here we are, January 2012, sales meeting. 2013, close enough. We do have at least one new agent. I want to introduce Robert. Robert, stand up for a second. Robert Portugal. I have known Robert, how long have we known each other?
5 years.
5 years, God, it seems like 15.
Yeah.
Okay, well at any rate, Robert and I have known each other for a little while, and I don't know, a few months back we started talking about, you know, getting into the business, and so anyway, Robert has kind of effectively joined us within the last couple of weeks. So anyway, everybody welcome Robert and treat him nicely. So Robert, everybody, Robert. So is there anybody, we've actually had a couple of new agents. I don't recognize any brand new faces in here. It'll be Joe with ABC Company, and Sally with XYZ Company, and Jim with Elemental P Company. So what we're going to hopefully try to do this year, which we have failed miserably at for the last 20, certainly the last 10, is to get a true partner on the mortgage side. And we'll see whether, it's a fairly easy goal, but no one seems to be able to hit it. So we'll see if Brad's shoes are big enough to fill that. We'll be seeing him a lot more. Again, kind of like with our escrow and property management, I'm not going to stand up here and twist your guys' arm. Matter of fact, the last 3 or 4 minute speech I'm giving you now is probably going to be the longest one we have in the sales meeting. But I did want to introduce Brad. He's going to be commandeering our conference room a little bit more often than we've seen in the past. Use them, try them, don't abuse them. If you've got relationships that you're happy with, that's fine. But hopefully at least he'll be available to you guys a little bit more than what we've seen in the past. So with that, I'm going to give Brad a couple of minutes to do a more proper introduction and tell you what he's all about. And come on up. And you're on video, so be careful. So for those that aren't at the meeting, you know, they'll be able to see you live and then memorize. Yeah, be careful with that.
Good morning. So I have been in a couple times. Again, my name is Brad Hodge. And anytime I've been in the mortgage business a long time, I'm going to give you a little more exact in a second, but every time I walk into a new set of relationships over the years, I get some of the looks I'm getting this morning like, not another one. Been there, done that, I understand. I've been in the business since 1973. That's 39 years for those of you that aren't quick on the math. I know I'm not anymore. I'll be 60 in a few weeks. I've held Western regional positions.
How are you, man?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. I thought I saw you out of the corner of my eye this morning.
You've been coming and going, so.
All right, guys, we're late. I apologize. We're gonna get going right now. Are we gonna microphone ourselves or? No, sweet. Okay. We've got a lot of stuff to cover, and I promise we'll get everybody out of here at 10 o'clock. So, Happy New Year. Are we awake? A little bit? No? Are we still on holiday? Okay. This thing on? Hello? So how's everybody going? Did we have a good year? A good New Year?
Yes.
Yes? Somebody give me some feedback. Somebody please. Somebody say something.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Like the quote line.
What's that?
I like the quote.
Yeah, so I gotta tell you, these meetings are so much easier to get prepared for with Google and you know, you just do a quick inspirational quote search in Google and it's amazing what you come up with. And that seems appropriate. Can you hear me? Am I good on the mic?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys, we're gonna get going. Good morning. We're still a little thin, I don't know, I'm just kind of feeling the,
Send out the email.
send out the email, what?
Yeah, I almost missed the meeting.
That we
Just
just.
that we're having a meeting.
Who did not get the email that, or the reminder email, we're having a meeting? Brian's the only one? Okay, good. Yeah, we did send.
I'll wear the dunce cap, thank you.
Okay, well, we do send the email, I mean, generally speaking.